So right underneath the title of defining suffixes, you have a chart that says the 3 sounds of ED. Would you put a title on those? The first sounds of ED are d, and you see that upside down E again. That is that schwa sound. Now, in some words, I actually hear the E actually making that sound, the short E sound. But oftentimes when we pronounce those words so quickly, that sound gets distorted into a schwa, just the sound. We think about another sound that the ED can make in the word grabbed, or sailed, or hugged, right? What sound, everybody? It's the D sound, yes. And a last sound that ED can make in the word jumped, or crashed, or fussed is that sound t, 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 t. So when kids are working through morphemic analysis, they can say, oh yes, what I see is ED, but what they hear is something different. So developing their awareness around the fact that in this particular case, that ED still has that same meaning, even if it's a different sound, right? This is one of those prefixes that sort of doesn't follow the same rule in terms of its pronunciation. It has a specific meaning. It shows that the action is past regardless of how it's pronounced. But keying kids into this is really, really important. So what I'm going to have you do in breakout rooms is you have all of these sounds of ed or ud, and at the bottom of the page, you have another chart that is asking you to go through some new words with that ED at the end and identify what sound you hear. But I want you to do something additional. The directions say place a check mark in the column corresponding to the correct pronunciation. I want you to see if you can figure out why some words have the sound D. Why do some words have the sound T? Why do other words have the sound ud? What is it about the word that's causing that particular sound of the spelling ED? Okay, so I want you to talk to sort of sort those, check what sound you hear when you pronounce the word, but then really look critically at the base word, okay, or the root, depending upon what it is. All right, so I'm going to send you to breakout rooms for about, let's see, we need about 4 minutes. I want you to complete the chart and then see if you can figure out what is it about the spelling that causes the different sound. Welcome back, everybody. I think we have everyone from breakout rooms. So let's see if you could figure out what was the pattern that caused the ED to have a specific sound. So with your partner or partners, think about that sound of ED pronounced ed. What was it about the base word that caused that sound to be ed? Put it into the chat box if you and your partners think you figured out what was it. To identify what was happening at the end of that base word specifically. All right, you guys, nice work. Your word investigators, word detectives. The base word ends with the sound t or d. It's absolutely right. Because it's really, really hard to say, like if we were going to take painted as an example, it's really hard to make the d or the t. You can't almost get sort of tongue tied. Paint did, paint did. You can't make the t and the d right next to each other unless they're 2 separate syllables, right? And like Even then, that's really, really hard to pronounce. So when a word ends with a t or a d sound, we add that schwa sound in there to make it a separate syllable. D. Okay, how about when it's pronounced with a d? The key here was the sound at the end of the base word. Grab, chill, bang. This one was a little bit trickier. This was a little bit trickier. Anybody think they've got it? What did the last sound of the base word have in common? It wasn't the spelling, and it's not the sound itself. Anyone? Ah, Linnea, you got it. The sound at the end of grab, chill, bang is what's called a voiced sound. It is that sound that has a vibration when we produce that sound. So every word, the base word that has a voiced sound at the end will have the sound, the sound of the ED spelling will be D. Say those words to yourself and just feel your vibration, your voice box at the end of the word. Grab, chill, bang. All of those are voiced sounds. So this is giving you a hint for the last category. The words hiked, jumped, tripped, backed, cashed. What was it about those words that made that ED make the sound T? Yes, Connie, those sounds are voiceless. They are what we call the quiet sounds. So if we make that sound as in hike, there's no vibration. Jump, trip, back, cash, there's no vibration with that individual sound. So it's the sound at the very end of the word that dictates what sound ED will have. Awesome job, everybody. Way to go on that activity.